Are you a curious student, eager to learn new skills and make your mark in the world? Or are you a professional seeking to advance your career and unlock your full potential? You need to be equipped with effective soft skills like communication, problem solving, teamwork, and more. The Level Up Academy by Doc Leland bridges the gap between education and employment through transferable skills training. Get the soft skills you need to be more effective at work.
Hi, sis. I see you. Hello, everybody. All right. So, what's up, sis? I replied to you. And my reply went to YouTube. And because you're not in YouTube, it's going to look weird like, hi, sis, and there's nobody there. But thank you so much for being here. My guest is actually having technical difficulties, so hopefully he'll be able to come in a couple of minutes. But he's very interesting. He's a doctor, and he's a monk with a funk, right? So it's kind of unusual, but really exciting to get to know him as well. Hopefully we'll have Zen today. And thank you for watching yesterday. I haven't replied to most, if not, most of the messages yesterday. I'm busy trying to get my class situated and get as much information I can to my students. I have signups already, so I want to make sure that I provide the most value for the money that they can buy out there. And obviously, that the end is support. And giving me additional information of like, hey, I want to see this and this. So I'm going to share my equipment that I use for lighting, for microphone, and things like that. So it's going to be very exciting. And I think I'm going to also see Sandra today and Raylene. And Raylene I haven't met, and she's from LinkedIn, so I cannot wait to meet her in person. With my kiddos. We're going to go shopping. That's dangerous, huh? That's definitely dangerous. Anyway, welcome to Level Up Academy, everybody. And I just see my guest coming up, so hopefully we'll see him soon. Level Up Academy again started as a, if you're not familiar, started as a higher education communication. It's usually about student engagement, faculty engagement, and really just all about higher ed. I still talk about higher ed because that is my passion. Education is my passion. And I am doubling down on education and human. Yes, we still need to do technology. I am your human AI. That's what I'm like. I'm AI, but I'm human. Okay. But I love technology. I'm never gonna say no. I love robotics. I fly a drone. I play around with lots of robots at my house, tanks. Let's see, what do you call this? Those cars, like I don't have boys, I have two girls, but they love video games. We have all kinds of video games. Probably at least 6,000 video games, quite honestly. Have I played all of them? Heck no. My husband builds all the video games. There's one tabletop. It's actually good if we had a much bigger house where we could have hundreds of people in, and you literally, I have 5 standing video games and 4 tabletop video games at my house, and along with, well, you can't see it, but yesterday you saw I have 2 pinball machines. Our family loves games. You do not need to be so rigid and you're like, I'm an adult now, I'm not going to play video games. No, 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 that's not happening in our house. We like to have fun because fun is where it needs to be. Can't be serious all the time. However, with Level Up Academy, there are times where we talk about serious stuff and there are times where it's going to be fun. But today I'm hoping you'll have fun with my guests for sure. Anyhow, this is my website, luabyDocLeland.com. Please forgive me if you wanted an updated information. Sometimes the link might not be there. I'm a one-woman show. I literally create my own websites. I have 4 domains that I own and a couple of websites that I own that some of you probably don't know. And I run all of them while I have a full-time job. Unbeknownst to some of you, I am a director and I run my ship tight, and I lecture 6 hours a day, 6 hours full time, and then I have my podcast and obviously my classes, and also my sisters every Sunday, my audio room, my MP3. I've got a lot going on, so please forgive me if my website sometimes the link is not there. As far as my guests, whoever guests on my podcast, you will automatically get this live stream on YouTube. And I know it says 1,000. I need to update that. I'm at 1,300 now, which is really wonderful. And this was just taken a couple of weeks ago. And I got a little certificate 2 weeks ago that there were people that spent 271, okay, more than 500,000 of minutes, or I don't remember if it was minutes or hours. I think it's minutes that watches the video. So please do share. Thank you so much for sharing the video. These are nuggets, golden nuggets that most of the people are so generous to give information to all of you. Again, because I am part of the LA Weekly Top 10 podcast to listen to, my website is already on there. So if I list you on the website, you'll automatically also be seen by the people there, from Shout Out DFW, Baby Boomer, FeedSpot. And I counted for accuracy purposes and transparency. I am in 25 distribution channels. Tracy, oh my gosh. Her and I had a talk, and I can't really reveal anything. I am excited, but I don't know if I can afford Tracy. She is on my expensive side, but I want to level up myself. I just don't know how and when, but it will happen someday. However, when you are a guest on my show, you're MP3, the live stream itself is on some of the distribution channel. But if I choose, and not all my live stream is on MP3, I choose the conversation that's going to be on the MP3 because I have so many listeners in 73 countries and nations now, and still 6 continents. I can't get the penguin to listen to us. We have to bribe them probably with buckets of fishes for sure. But you will be heard in 25 distribution channels. My favorite thing is when one of my guests says, oh my God, my daughter said I'm famous because I am on iHeartRadio. And I'm like, Awesome. Because you can listen to iHeartRadio podcast and Apple and Spotify as well on your MP3 once I put you in there. Books, if you guys want, and dissertation. My first book is very technical. There's a lot of calculations in there. But it is for HR people. If you're hiring managers and you're looking if there is a difference between culture in executive women in the Philippines, it comes to values and leadership style, then you can read that up. That's my second book, which is my team when I was a dean at a university at ANU. There's different topics. If you wanted to publish, there's a topic for publishing. If you wanted to do thought leadership, there's also one in there. Mr. Lee, I cannot talk enough about her. She's a great publisher. I have a lot of publisher friends, but she is our recent publisher who got our book, My Two Cents on Self-Love, at #1 international best-selling author. Like, hello. I wasn't, by the way, the really awesome news on that one. Do you see this cover? My sister Nicole Galindo and Guy Galindo. She's the one who you need to when it comes to graphics. She's amazing. This is her. And she owns her superpower, the gifted bipolar. Yes, sometimes she says something. She's like, wait, should I supposed to say that? And I'm like, girl, no, but that's okay. You already said it. You can't take it back. But anyhow, but she's amazing when it comes to graphics, content writing. If you're a book author, you wanted to have a book cover, hit me up, hit her up and connect with her. And she has her own audio room on Sunday at 7 a.m. PST. Okay, and it's really amazing. She has people come in there that co-host with her based on your participation. My sister Christine, she is an amazing K-12 teacher. 30 years. She has a lot of things happening, and she also has a book and a journal coming with an amazing partner that she partnered with, another educator. My sister Susanna, she has a lot cooking soon, books, journals, vision boarding classes. I cannot wait. If you are not connected with her, please do. And last but not the least, my sister Natalie, who's actually the very first person in here. Thank you, sis. She has a lot of books. If you think you're not an artist, she told me I'm an artist because I can doodle. I love her. I love her so much because doodling is an art, right? And my daughter doesn't believe it though. Yeah. But anyway, you need to go ahead and connect with my sis Natalie. August 1st, okay, I have a class, and I actually wanted to partner up with Walk Tall Movement. If you guys use the Walk Tall 23, you'll get $25 off on the class that I'm opening up on August 1st. And you're wondering, what kind of class is this, CJ? This is actually a class if you want to level up your game as a branding yourself, you wanted to create your own live show like this, if you wanted to create your podcast like this, I will teach you and I will help you. Like, I will literally help you and show up in your show. I will also create a YouTube channel for you. If you already have a YouTube channel, check out how long you've been in there and how many subscribers do you have. If you don't know, there's tips and tricks on how to get it. I went in 3 months from 36 subscribers to 1,200 in 3 months. And so I'm going to teach you the ways, the Jedi ways of how to get there quick. And you're like, well, we don't need quick. It is organic, but it is a way of getting you visibility, because it doesn't matter how amazing your messages are. If no one knows you, then it's just there. It exists, right? So this class is for that, and also help you with your LinkedIn optimization. Optimize your LinkedIn, your about page, create a business page if you have a business page. And then the last week, which is the 4th week, is basically going to be giving you all the tools that I use to go into these nations and countries and basically get into how to get your messages in there. Because at the end of the day, you need lead generation. But the lead generation, the way you're doing it now, pitch slapping DMs does not work. People don't want you to pitch slap them. So it has to be organic. It has to be authentic. And you have to work at it. It's not going to be easy. The good news is you're not doing it alone. I will be there with you all the way through, just like any of my classes. I've been teaching 10 years, And I probably have over 10,000 students. My youngest is 4 years old. My oldest is 78 years old. So I can teach anybody in between any subject, especially in business. Okay. Registration ends on July 28th. After that, I will not take anybody, and I only will take 25 students because I want to make sure I can fully support you all the way through. And we'll create our group just for social media marketing class. This is actually social media level up, like mastermind all the way through. I will create this group for us. So I want it to be small, intimate, so we can help each other. Okay. Slickbio.com is where you need to find me if you need anything in terms of like what's CJ doing. I'm using Dub as well. Oh, the co-founder of Dub. You're like, why are you talking about Dub all the time? Because that's what I use for my courses, guys. Okay. And I'm trying to show you already that the software, listen, I research which one I want to do. I even went to create my own website on HTML and all the coding for courses. And I got frustrated. I'm like, I don't have time for this. And so I already went to have someone, I pay someone to do it. He didn't do it right. I'm very particular. Nicole knows I have a structured way of doing things because I love excellence. I need excellence. I'm not going to give you subpar. That's not how I roll. I go big or I go home. And so when I create classes or any workshop, it's go big or go home is my mantra. But Dub is like amazing. CRM, classes, courses. I mean, co-founder will be here so you guys can ask as many questions as you want. Lonnie Ray, I wanted to give her a shout out again because she was my connector for Chris, Todd, and Dr. La Rosa yesterday. If you haven't seen that live stream, it is on YouTube. And also, Stephanie, if you don't know her, she is so amazing with her voice, like super healing and calm. And she also have a book, but I'm actually highlighting her because she's going through have a class as well on having to calm you down and your monkey mind. So please do. And Lonnie basically have a gentleman. Actually, he's also my connection. He wants to have money to support the suicide prevention. I think you have to vote. He's second yesterday when I checked, and we want him to be first. It's only $1 to vote, guys. Okay, and that is where the if you could take a picture of that, that is the link up there that I put on there. And next week, 27th, you're going to see all of us eat chicken and see who will chicken out. I kind of cheated. I know. It was so good. The sauce is so good, guys. I was eating it. And I was like, I couldn't stop. And my kids were like, Mom, give me some. So yeah, I kind of cheated on one of the sauces. It's so good. But you'll see us eat. Hopefully we'll not burn our tongue and smoke coming out of our ears. But I wanted to also do a shout out one more before I get our guest in is Tracy Lamb, okay, caregiver. So let's look at, she just texted it in our group. She said she's been named one of the top 23 most influential business women of 2023 and special most influential caregiving CEO in the Southeast region of United States. Sister, congratulations. Amazing job. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that with our group. And that is it. Are you guys ready for my guest? I'm talking too much already. And this is all about my guest. Are you guys ready? Are you sure? Can we hear you now?
I don't know. Can you hear me?
Yay! Okay. We got some technical issues. Oh my gosh.
I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to talk to you today.
No, we make it happen. Listen, I said, go to your cell phone. Like cell phone works. That's what happens yesterday.
I actually went to the cell phone and that didn't work. So I went to my iPad. That's what we're using now. So I'll do anything to make this happen, just like you'll do anything to make this happen.
That's right. We are going to do it, right? It's meant to be. But I'll go right to it. So first of all, introduce to us your name and also what you do. And then think back 20 years ago and find within your timeline some of those significant changes in your life that got you here today with me.
Awesome. Well, Recently, I've started being known as Dr. Keith because I finished my doctorate program. It took 8 years to do that. But affectionately, people call me the monk without the funk. And I prefer that title. That's where I'm at on LinkedIn, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, all of that. You can find me as the monk without the funk. I have my own website as well. I'm going to have to go back just a touch before 20 years just to show you. I'll make it quick because I know we only have so much time. But when I was 6.5 years old, doctors in the Western world were telling me that because of a lot of spinal issues, that I was going to be paralyzed by the time I was 13. And I asked my mom at the end of these, like the third doctor that told me, I asked my mom, do these people really know what they're talking about? Because that doesn't sound like a lot of fun. And she told me it was going to be up to me to prove them wrong. So somehow I managed to intuitively, at night, I used to start going out in the woods on the farm. We lived on a farm back then. And I would go out in the woods on the farm at night and just look at the sky and think, wow, is there any way out of this? And I started intuitively starting to move in certain ways, which turned out to be ancient Qigong exercises for spinal strength and flexibilities. Qigong is a meditational self-healing art that comes out of China, ancient China. And in the early days back then, my only interest in those exercises and in that art was just for physical health, because I really wanted to avoid what those doctors were telling me if it was all possible. Obviously, I'm not paralyzed. So in time and going through working, and I'm going to speed through a few things now so you know where I'm at today. After going into the military and coming out with a fairly high security clearance, I was able to get corporate management positions in top government facilities. And I see myself now as having been one of the forerunners of the conscious leadership movement, where I was more emotionally intelligent and emotionally aware of people in the workplace. I didn't do my management leading from sitting in an office saying, oh no, I have an open door policy, come and talk to me. I used to lead and work with the team out in the same area they were working in. And my bosses used to always tell me, you just don't know how to be a manager. You're not supposed to be their friend. You're supposed to maintain a separation. And I told them, I just don't see it that way. I want to get to know my team members. I want to know when their birthdays are. I want to celebrate their birthdays. I want to know what their emotional needs are outside of here so I can be aware of that. And I want to support the team. And I always used to make sure that if something went really well, if a project came in on time or ahead of time and it was done really well, that the team got the credit for it. I just stepped back. And if higher ups were offering friction to what we were doing and not really happy with what we were doing, that's when I would step in front of the team and say, no, let's leave them out of this. They're doing their best. And so I've understood that these original exercises that I did out of ancient China, which were basically Taoist mindfulness and meditation principles, applied totally to the world of the business world. And they allowed me to gain a better emotional intelligence, a better ability to connect with people and make them want to connect with me. And I think that's the most important thing about emotional intelligence, is being able to present yourself in a way that the other people around you want to connect with you and want to make, do what needs to be done in that area. And you have to be a leader. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing today, is working with leaders and business managers and supervisors that are open to this concept. Since post-COVID, we have that new term called quiet quitting, where people are just doing the bare minimum and going home because they realize that there's a lot more important than just the job. So I'm working with leaders and managers and supervisors now who are open to this concept, showing them ancient principles that apply to developing that emotional intelligence so that people can connect with them. And their people come to work because they want to be there, not just because they have to have a job. And I have having been in the corporate world, I've been through all of those standard modern management training seminars, and I personally found them to be overcomplicated, long, drawn out, kind of boring, And I yeah, right. They're boring, and I'm like, how can I concentrate on this? And I honestly never saw too many people actually applying the things that we supposedly learned in those conferences. They would go back to their work and check off the little box that said they had to go to that seminar and say, yeah, I did that. But they never really put it into play. The Taoist principles that I'm teaching to develop the things I say we can develop are very simple, and they're very easy to put into place. One of the principal pillars or concepts of Taoism is simplicity. So in the Western world, we tend to overcomplicate everything. We try to make it way more complicated than it has to be. And if you overcomplicate things, you introduce a lot of thought processes. And if you're overthinking, energy doesn't flow, if that kind of makes any sense. So if it's a very complicated procedure, like I said, I never saw anybody put those into play. They just went back and said, yes, I did it. And I went to that 2-day seminar, and like trust building exercises, falling into somebody's arms. No, I'm not really big on that.
Me either. I'm like, I mean, when I fall in someone's arms, it's okay. I'm 5 feet tall, barely 100 pounds. We're fine. My husband, I'm like, do not fall on me. Do not, you will fall on the ground. Like, that's just not gonna happen. And I do a lot. So I've been leading teams for 25 years, and I get what you're saying too, because it's just a check mark, right?
Right.
In my seeing is that it's really weird. I've been here longer than I have been in the Philippines. That's where I was born and raised. I was here since I was 13. I'm closer to 50 now. And I still gravitate to my Asian root. Everything that I do is from my Asian root. And I'm glad when I was looking at your profile well back, you actually have Sun Tzu. And I'm like, oh, it's ringing. I use that. Like, I have 5 different Sun Tzu books, but I love this book right here, The Art of Sun Tzu. But the reason I love that is because there's so many strategies, okay? So many, and my grandfather actually, since I was 5, uses that on all of his grandkids.
It applies to almost everything. Everywhere you want to put that, those applications and those lessons, it just applies. And it's all about strategies, like you said, and getting along and cooperating. And one of my favorite quotes out of The Art of War is that the best battles are those that are won without fighting. Yes. This is all about compromise. And, this is part of the problem. I mean, okay, when I talk about leaders that are open to these concepts, I am referring to the fact that some of them just can't let go of their egos, right? And, if you're not going to let go of your ego, you're going to think, oh, I've got the ideas. I've got the ways to do these and do this project and that project. And you really got to back off of that. And once you start getting a better awareness of your own emotions and getting control over your emotions and realizing that everybody else has got some great ideas. And as long as you're shutting them down, these people are going to be at work, working on their resumes, trying to find a job somewhere else.
Yeah, busy. And I think part of it, when I see people who micromanage others, I will quit on you, by the way, if you micromanage me. I can't handle micromanagement. Part of it is ego, but also experience. Because some people want to do it their way, afraid that their boss is going to tell them that they fail on something. So they think that, hey, I have this position, I'm going to do it my way. And if your way is not aligning with my way, I'm going to do it anyway for you because I want to make sure I look good on the boss up there. And I think that's the problem, is your insecurity as a manager and your inexperience as a manager doesn't allow others to show and shine on their own way. And so you're always closed off. Another thing is company culture. Some company culture are so tight that even if you want to do something with your team, you can't, because it's just so much bureaucratic stuff that's just pushing you down.
That's part of the problem I was in when I was working in those government facilities, is they're afraid to change. They're afraid to do anything a little bit different than what they've done before. And when you talk about micromanaging, now I have a big theory on why we have so many micromanagers. when you get out of college or get out of the military, wherever you got your experience from, you get this job and you work hard. They train you on how to do the job, right? They always will give you job on the job training because your school, your education didn't really tell you how to do any specific job. It just gave you the skill set to do those jobs. So when you get them, they give you training, and you get really, really good at a job to where someday they promote you into management. But at that point, there's almost never any training on how to be a manager. So you go into this, now you're the manager, and you think, well, I'm the manager because I was the best at that job. So the way I did the job must be the only way to do the job. So I think they shut down a lot of creativity and a lot of innovation from other people just because of that belief. They believe they got their management job because they were the best at that job. So you must do the job the way I did it. And, you know, another principle of Taoism is patience. Okay, you have to be patient with these new people and let them figure out their way of doing it. Because again, I believe that bringing everybody else's thoughts, opinions, and ideas on how to do a job into play are really important. You're going to find innovation that way. You're going to find people are motivated to work that way. And as long as you're micromanaging, people are going to be like you and me, and they'll be like, I think I'm going to work somewhere else.
Yeah. I was like, thank you, but no thank you. I don't want wrinkles today. Bye-bye. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question is, how do you, as a successful business leader, manage to maintain a healthy work-life balance while still achieving your professional goals?
Okay, now meditation is a big thing to me. And I don't want to get on that soapbox because I could take up 2 hours with this because I literally believe that. Okay, I got to say this about meditation. I wasn't going to go into this, but
Go for it. Go for it.
for
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
If I say meditation to you or to most people, the first thought in your head is you picture somebody sitting and staring at a blank wall with little finger symbols, ching, ching, ching. Right? But I went through an 8-year program at an Eastern Western Medical College, so I learned some things about prolonged sitting. All right, and their medical circles are calling sitting the new smoking. Sitting is that unhealthy for us. If you talk to people that do that kind of meditation and you ask them what kind of challenges do you have getting into your meditations, they're going to tell you 3 things very common: numbness, tingling, and cramping in the lower body. You look at medical journal reports at chronic lack of circulation in the lower body, and there's 3 things that are very common: numbness, tingling, cramping in the lower body. So those things really match up. And then if you look at what prolonged sitting and lack of circulation in the lower body does to you, it gives you a serious increase in a chance for stroke. It gives you a serious increase in a chance for heart attacks, heart disease, deep vein thrombosis, shrunken organs. There's all kinds of medical issues that are tied to prolonged sitting. Now, I get that 50, 60 years ago, we may not have known that information, but now we do. So I personally don't understand why everybody still promotes meditation in a seated position when meditation is supposed to be a good thing for you. And that's why, coming out of the Taoist traditions, my meditations are standing and moving. There's a standard traditional Qigong posture for meditation that actually opens up the flow through the entire system rather than decreasing it. There's a circuit that's hardwired in all of our brains that says you've been sitting for 20 minutes, you must not be using your lower body. So I'm going to just dramatically decrease circulation of blood, nutrients, energy into your lower body because you're not using it.
I'm so bad. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, oh, stop, it's me.
Standing meditations, moving meditations, coming out of Qigong. I mean, that's one of the main things. Even if you are a business leader and you said, okay, I'm open to wanting to learn how to be more emotionally intelligent, how to be more adaptable in the business world, how to be more collaborative with my team, I'm going to start you with those standing meditations. because they allow you to open up the flow through your body. And this is the first step. This does apply to what you actually asked. How do you maintain that separation between business and life? Because it gives you a good meditation gives you more of awareness of who you are. And more of an ability to say, okay, well, I've been at work for, I'm going to be nice and say 12 hours because I don't know how to work only 8 hours. Just don't. So I've been at work for that much time. I need to go shut that part of my brain off now. And I need to find some activity that really gives me joy. Like, I know you listen to music, right? I'm guessing that you like to dance.
Me? Oh yeah, all kinds of sorts. I mean, I probably look like something's wrong with me when I'm dancing. I'm like, yeah, and my dogs are like, sometimes my dog howls and barks at me, and I'm like, okay, I'm coming down now. Seriously, I'm coming down now. Like, and my kid's like, Mom, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. You know, yeah, I know. First of all, I wanted to acknowledge that you are a miracle. I didn't know that about you, and we talked before this, and I didn't know about you were told that you're going to be paralyzed. You are a miracle, and I'm thankful that you did not accept what you were given. I was told too when I was doing my cancer stuff. This 2011, it was March. I remember it was March. They told me, by the way, by December you'll be dead. So this was 2011. If I don't get the surgery, I shut down, got depression to the T with my 2 kids. Very callous too. The way they say it on the phone, not even get me in, just like, hey, by the way, are you sitting down? I'm like, no, I have my kids with me. What has happened? And they tell you, oh, by the way, you're gonna die in December. I'm like, I'm sorry, this year, or like 2028, or like, no, this year. It's just too much. And so you telling me that story, you are a miracle.
Thank you. And I hope you didn't listen to them.
That's why I'm still here.
Yeah. I've got now a doctor of acupuncture and Chinese medicine degree. This whole thing led to that point where I, at one point, realized that all of my favorite historical figures from China were not only martial artists, Qigong practitioners, but they were doctors.
Mm-hmm.
So one night I decided, well, if I'm going to really emulate all these people from back then, I can't just be a martial artist or a Qigong person. I have to go be a doctor. So 8 years later, I had my doctorate in acupuncture and Chinese medicine. And in that period, I've talked to, I don't know how many people that say something similar to what you just said, where doctors don't, like I knew one woman that came to me and she said, well, my doctors, I stopped listening to them because they said I have cervical cancer and I'm going to die. And I'm like, why would a healthcare practitioner want to tell you you're going to die? I mean, like, that's horrible. So her whole point was she wanted to have a baby. Always wanted to have a baby. And that's what she was telling her doctors. And her doctors were telling her, forget that. You're actually going to die. And I'm like,
thanks.
Yeah, thanks so much. I'm going to go somewhere else. And she ended up talking to me. And I'm like, well, I'm never going to tell you that. Let's prove them wrong. I like to prove doctors wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, after 18 months of working with the things that I was talking to her about, the doctors cannot find her tumors anymore. She has a baby. Yeah, right.
That's so nice.
Yes, and she now is going off talking about Chinese medicine, Chinese principles, Tao, because really, this is the way to go. The ancient ways are the way to go. And
over 2,000 years, maybe even more. Like when I found out about my family from Guangdong and knowing that the city has existed 2,200 years, I'm like, I'm sorry. Hold on 1 second. Let me stop. Because when my dad's cousin went and showed a video, my cousin was getting married and they showed the first house that our great-great-grandparents owned. And still my great-grandparents still live, like all the brothers. And I looked, I'm like, man, that house is old. And they're like, it might be really, really, really old. They've been here forever. And I was like, huh? because it looks like a temple, but like a castle. I don't know how to explain it. And when you see on TV where they have like a main house and the gate and then houses around, that looks like that my family's house in Guangdong, China. And I was like, "Ooh, that's kind of cool!" Like all the little temple thing, and it is. And when people like, there's so many oils and things like that. Like lavender is my favorite oil, and they're like, "Oh, this is really," and I'm like, "Guys, China's been doing oil forever. What are you talking about? It's brand new." No, it's not brand new. It's just the technique and the marketing is brand new.
Marketing, that's where it's at. Absolutely. Because when I was going through all these classic ancient methods of doing acupuncture, one of the things I learned was that, okay, there's one school of thought from ancient China about there's 6 layers of disease, right? Working from the inside of the body into deeper into the organs. Each of those layers of disease has an oil that you can put on the tip of your needle, and if you can get accurate as to how deep you're going with your needles, you can activate that channel and eliminate that disease using the oil.
I know, that's why I love acupuncture.
Yeah.
Acupressure. I mean, like, I will go to that ancient Chinese any day. This is why I miss my grandmother, because I don't ever remember going to the hospital, even when I broke my bone. I don't remember. I think she just put bamboo sticks on my leg, and I'm like, "Oh, it's not gonna be straight, Grandma." She's like, "You'll be fine," Then she rammed it. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, no, even in China, they have techniques for using acupuncture to reset bones. If you break your bone, yeah, right? I mean, like, what? And like, unfortunately, because of the Western Medical Association here, there are laws against us here.
Yeah.
And I really want to learn. I want to see this done. But supposedly, if you can get to an acupuncturist in China really quickly after you break a bone, they'll needle it on either side of the break and use the energies to realign that bone.
That is so crazy. Do you have a way for someone who might be going through cancer right now that is low in energy? Is there something you could do right now?
I'm always going to fall back on the Qigong principles, if I can, because, okay, when you talk about cancer, that woman that came to me with cervical cancer, we only used Qigong. I didn't do acupuncture. I didn't do herbs. I didn't do any of that. I used Qigong because Qigong exercises work on balancing the energies underneath your whatever issue you have, just so it can resolve that. And cancer is absolutely sapping your energy, right? So we're not in a position where I can stand up right now, but I'll just describe what we're doing, because you want to. It's a nice posture. Apparently, I mean, I'm sorry we can't do the standing thing right now, but this posture, according to ancient Chinese teachings, is the only position we can ever put our bodies in to open up all the flow through our entire system. There's only one. Every other way we stand is literally blocking off energy flow. And if you don't have good energy flow, you don't have good blood flow, or you don't have good nutrient flow. And part of the thing with cancer is, okay, now we're seeing that at least this is a number that most people say, what? 95% of the reasons we're going to see a doctor are caused by stress. Okay, so stress is the underlying reason behind a lot of the diseases in the world today. Actually know that, rather than telling you how to de-stress, giving you pills. Now, cancer is not necessarily caused by stress, but cancer feeds on stress. So you can get it to back off just by doing the right meditations and the right breathing, just so that you start to de-stress. Because some people don't want to hear this, but stress is actually a choice. All right, we all live in a world where we have potentially stressful issues happening all the time. You can choose to be stressed about that. I mean, I can choose to be stressed about the political situation today, or I can choose to think, well, I can't do anything.
Nothing about it. Yeah.
Right? And so if I can't do anything about it, I'm not going to let it affect my life.
Yeah.
So for someone that has cancer, the first thing we want to do is get them to learn how to de-stress. And so the standing posture, I'm going to explain it. I'm sorry, I can't.
You want to back out? I want to see it. I don't care. Go ahead. Take your time.
Very simple. And a lot of times in this world, what I've seen, and it's frustrating to me, is that people tend to think if it's simple, it doesn't work, right?
I have a word for that. I might get kicked out of YouTube, but I implement KISS. Do you know what KISS is?
Yeah, keep it simple.
And stupid? Yup.
Yeah.
Keep it simple and stupid. That's how people learn. KISS.
Right. And you know, Taoism has been around for thousands of years. Like you said, at least 2,000. I've seen texts that say it's more like 4,000.
Oh yeah,
But
for sure.
nobody agrees. Let me turn this way and see.
Oh, I can see you. I can see you. There you go. There you go. Yep.
Now, you can't see my lower body, but I'll explain that, and that should be okay. Okay, so your feet are about hip width, right? You're not really wide. You're just hip width on your feet. And the toes are pointed forward. The knees are relaxed a little bit. You don't want to bend them deep. You just want to relax them. And the hips are a little tricky at first, and they want to be in a neutral position. So the easiest thing I've seen as far as describing how to do that is if you gently lift from your abdominal area. It's kind of a dancer exercise. If you took dance lessons, they're going to do that because it gives you good posture and it puts your hips in a nice neutral position. This is I'm going to use the word activate your thighs. If you haven't stood like this in a while, you might not want to stand in it a long time because it really puts a lot of, your thighs are taking the weight here.
Okay.
Eventually, it gets to be a very relaxed posture because it is, I believe in the Chinese when they say that it's the one position you can put your body in to open up good flow through the whole system. And we're not used to that. We sit all day. Yeah, no, not just you. We all sit all day. We have a really bad habit of it. And our brains are hardwired for shutting down circulation to our lower bodies up to 20 minutes of sitting. So anyways, we've got our feet hip width, toes pointed forward, knees are nice and relaxed so the hips can drop a little bit. We're lifting gently from the stomach area so the hips go into a neutral position. Now we want to imagine coming out of the crown of our heads, going up into heaven, is this silken thread. It's really thin, but it's really strong. And that silken thread is holding us in this posture. So in your mind, you can let go of the muscle control. You can let go of the skeletal structure. It's none of that that's holding us in this posture. It's that thread going up into the heavens from the crown of our head. And then the shoulders want to roll in ever so slightly. Just relax them. Don't roll them in. Just let them relax, because that allows the chest to sink, and sinking the chest allows all the chi or energy to sink. And then you're going to start grounding to the floor. At first, you might rock back and forth because your body's just not used to getting into this. But eventually, if you do this like 5 minutes a day, it's going to help you just root to the floor. It's going to drop a lot of tension. And the most important thing now, that thread energy is going to keep your head erect, and it's going to want to pull your chin back straight just a little bit. So it softens the curve in the neck, and our hip position softens the curve in our lower body. And that opens up energy channel flow through the whole system. Right now, we got to learn a little bit of breathing thing. This is called Dantian breathing in Chinese. Dantian just literally means energy center. And we're going to look at one energy center. If you take 3 fingers extended on one hand and 1 finger extended on one hand, take that 1 finger and find your belly button with it. Take those 3 fingers and lay them flat on your stomach under that 1 finger, and then move the 1 finger to the bottom of those 3 fingers. And then cross your hands over it at first if you haven't ever done this. And honestly, people think this is a new style of breathing. This is the style of breathing that every baby born all the way around the world does when they first come out of the womb. And then they look at their parents, learn from their parents, and a lot of us in Western cultures breathe high up into our chests now. And we're even taught a lot of times to puff up your chest, fill up your lungs. Your lungs are like big. They don't just happen right up here. But when we breathe high up into our chest, we're also bringing tension to our neck and shoulders. And since we breathe constantly, if you stop breathing, that's kind of a problem. If you breathe constantly, yeah, right. And, so we breathe constantly. And if you always breathe like that, you're always bringing tension into your neck and shoulders. You're never releasing it. This, in my opinion, is one of the reasons why people have chronic neck and shoulder pain, because of the way we're breathing. So you locate your lower dantian, cross your hands over it. Now, as you inhale and exhale through the nose, nice and slow and soft, 4 counts out, 4 counts in, 4 counts out, 4 counts in. As you breathe in, that lower dantian or lower abdominal area is going to softly expand out. And as you breathe back out, it softly contracts back in. And then you're going to stand in this posture, doing that breathing. And once you're sure that you're going to continue breathing to that area, then you just allow your hands to hang loosely at your sides. Palms want to face your thighs, and the thumbs and fingers point towards the earth. And you're in that posture I described, breathing that way. And the tongue wants to rest against the roof of the mouth and gently touch the back of the front teeth, because that's going to connect an internal circuit so energies can flow. And if you do this exercise, it's very simple, but it's going to allow you to drop a lot of tension. It's going to allow you to open up all the flow through your whole system.
Thank you for doing that, by the way. Natalie, I actually have, it's called a Varidesk. I just got one. My husband has one. Both my kids have one, but I didn't do it. And what happened is now I have gained floaties up here from sitting down. I was like, oh, I don't want this floaties. And I also I feel like there's numbing on my left shoulder, and I have a little bit of heart issues. So I have to go see my heart doctor, but it's like I have this weird, and then sometimes I can't breathe. I was like, I gotta stand up. So Varidesk at Amazon is like $160, and some are $280. I know I sound like a marketing person right now, but I highly suggest it after this conversation, because standing up, you're right, the circulation goes up and down. You can have better circulation. So thank you. Natalie asks, should we do it bare feet?
If you're comfortable in bare feet, yes. The putting shoes on kind of disconnects you from the earth or the ground, right? One of the big, so whatever you're comfortable, you can do it barefoot if you're comfortable. You can put socks on if you're comfortable. You can put slippers on if that's, the more contact you can have with what's underneath you, the better. But as you get more and more comfortable doing it, you can do it in shoes. It's all good. But one of the big differences between Taoism and Buddhism is Taoism is very big on visualizations once you're doing a meditation, right? So if you have shoes on, or if you're in a 7th floor apartment and you can't actually get to the earth, Taoism is going to say, just in your mind, picture yourself on the earth. And you're going to connect to the earth.
Thank you for doing that. I'm gonna apply that. Now I really am motivated to unpack my box. It's been sitting there for about a week and a half now, my standing desk, and I'm like, I have to redo my loft. And I was gonna do it this weekend, but nothing happened. So I'm gonna have that desk so I can stand up now for sure.
Awesome. I've got a desk right now that actually has a little button. I don't want to make you feel bad about your desk, but
oh yeah, it is. I have one where you push a button, it goes up and down. Yeah.
Love my desk.
That's what I have upstairs that I haven't unpacked yet, but I will do now. I'm motivated. Thank you for inspiring me to unpack my boxes. I have my chair. I have a brand new chair in case I need to, but I definitely will do that. Now, I can't believe we're already almost done, but before we do, I asked this question for every single guest. If this is your last day today on this earth, what would be your parting message to your current and future families in terms of living life, legacy, and impact?
Wow. No, I don't even want to go into this because I don't believe we're supposed to die. That's another message. We've convinced ourselves we have to die, and you keep telling yourself you have to die. So mind over matter, you're probably going to die. I'm here. I'm going to try to disprove that. But if this was my last day on earth, my message would be, you're the most important person that you can take care of. Because we all want to help other people, right? We're all here to make a change in the world and make other people's lives better. But if you don't keep yourself healthy and strong, how can you be your best with other people?
I love that. I love that you think that. And I think most of the people in my community also think that, because that this is what my global summit, I'm hoping we can expand on your teachings actually on my global summit to really reach more people. Because in order for us to be in charge, whether in charge of team or in charge of just a couple of people, or even in charge with our coworkers, we need to recharge ourselves first, right? Just like the airplane, you have to put oxygen mask for yourself before other people so that you can breathe and not get knocked out. And so I really believe that, and the theme of my global summit is recharge and in charge. So
Right.
you definitely perfect in that. Thank you so much for your time today. Is there any last thing about your business, about what you're doing that you would like to share with us?
Well, even I'm just gonna, just because you just put that recharge thought in my head, I'm gonna or I put that in your head, or we put that in our heads. I'm just gonna say that as far as business leadership, gets back to the core of why we need to gain better emotional intelligence. You need to be aware of your own self. You need to be aware of your own emotions before you can really connect with anybody else's. And it's
Yeah.
all part of that. I tell everybody, the 8 years I went through medical college, I kept telling people the most important person you can treat is yourself. It's not selfish if you understand that you have to be your best to be able to help other people.
Yeah. Thank you so much for doing that. And thank you so much for inspiring us. And your story is so amazing. You are amazing. And thank you for being here today and taking the time to share your terms of wellness, because there's a lot. I have a lot of medical doctor friends, and mental well-being is number one topic, hot topic right now, because everyone understands that without this right here being aligned, nothing works. It doesn't matter what you have, nothing will work in
Not,
your life. So
that,
thank you so much.
you're welcome. And that's why, and one last tiny thought, and then I'll let you go.
Sure.
This is why I chose Chinese medicine when I decided to go into medicine, because they have always seen the body and mind as a one whole, rather than your finger hurts, let's chop your finger off or something. I mean,
I
it's
know.
all one thing. You have to take care of the mind, you have to take care of the spirit, you have to take care of the body. It's all connected.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys. Thank you, sisters, for staying. And thank you so much for being here.